Welcome back to Okay Sister Podcast. My name is Mads.
My name is Scout, and we're so happy that you're here. We have an episode.
Do we have an episode? So, sisters, you've probably heard me gab about how much I'm addicted to Pvolve, and you've probably seen me post about it all the time on my Instagram. I have been such a Pvolve girly for years now, ever since they opened up 2 studios in LA. I recommend it to anyone that wants to work out, but they also have an incredible streaming fitness platform as well. And it's just such a different type of workout. For people like Scoutala that don't like to go into classes. I totally get it. But they have just such this unique approach to fitness. It doesn't leave you completely fatigued, but you do get that burn. I feel fantastic after doing a Pvolve class. Anyways, so we had the founder, Rachel on. Are you texting?
No, I'm just looking up the website for pvolve.com so we could tell them where to go. It is pvolve.com.
Okay, good. Oh, you're being prepared. I got it. Yeah. So we had the founder, Rachel, on. She is a gem. Honestly, I like an expander, a new expander for me.
Yeah, I'm trying to like put her in a box, and there's no box.
There's no box.
I'm like, is she a model? Is she a successful entrepreneur? Is she the sweetest human being I've ever met?
She's all of the above.
Is she like the girl I'm gonna frolic around the Hamptons with? Like all of the above.
She, like, we talk about it right off the gate. She like lives in the Hamptons. She has the most calming energy. She's like living out like a romance novel. Like, I'm like, what is this life you have?
I was telling Mads, I thought I looked really hot today, and then Rachel showed up in the same outfit as me, and like let's just say Pvolve works, guys.
If she's the model body for Pvolve, holy shit.
She was like, she said that at the end, she doesn't like doing like, videos and photos of herself, and I'm like, you're doing the brand a disservice, baby.
Say,
you got to get in front. She needs to be on like the cover of magazines.
Move over, Jennifer Aniston.
Jen
Aniston is their new ambassador. She should do a photo shoot with Jen.
Truly.
No, Rachel, we love you.
Yeah, she was.
And you're hot. It's what we're trying to say.
It's what we're trying to say. And we're going to be going to the Hamptons next year. Oh. And Rachel will be cooking us dinner.
We need to. Let's not just like say it. Like,
No.
Like, I want a month.
Yes.
Where we work from the Hamptons.
Yes.
And Baby Lily is there.
Baby Lily is there. I'm in. I'm down.
All
it's
right.
happening. Sisters, also, Pvolve gave you a little discount if you guys want to start at these on streaming. If you guys want to go in studio, just go to pvolve.com. You can use code OKSister15.
That's
OKSister15.
That's OKAYSISTER 15.
Yeah. And you guys got a little discount off to get started on your Pvolve journey. So, yeah. We're so excited. Yeah. And with that, sisters, let's welcome Rachel Katzman from Pvolve to the pod.
Welcome, Rachel, to Okay Sister Podcast.
So excited to be here.
Right before this, we were talking about how you live in the Hamptons.
Yes. We need to know everything.
And we just kind of like, we're 2 Jewish girlies from San Diego. Like, we don't know anything about East Coast summers. And Hamptons just seems so idyllic. How is it?
I mean, it's really a magical place. You kind of get everything from beach to farm and all the gorgeous farm stands. I mean, the summer's the craziest time.
Yeah.
Obviously, so many people come in. It's crazy busy. I think like right now is my favorite time there, September, October, November. And then it's really quiet, Jan, Feb, March, and then April. As people
Do you
start
get
to
snow
come
on
out.
the beach?
It snows maybe like a couple times, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wait, that's like my brain just broke, like snowing on the beach.
I know.
Also, like beach and East Coast doesn't like.
It doesn't connect. It doesn't click for us because we're
connect.
such like Pacific Ocean girls. But I know Snow on the Beach, ever since that Taylor Swift song, I was like, that broke my brain when I first heard it. I was like, wait, there can't be snow on the beach. But then, of course,
you got to come out there.
I would love a winter in the Hamptons. A summer in the Hamptons, a winter in the Hamptons.
Summer.
I'll come whenever.
Probably summer, but it's, it's pool, hang out with your friends.
Oh my God.
It's very, you kind of can make it what you want to make it.
Yeah. Oh.
Do you ever feel, because you lived in New York, Manhattan before that? Yeah. Do you go into the city a lot? What's the commute?
I go like 2 hours if you time it, like hour 45, 2 hours.
Okay,
yeah,
so
it's not awful.
It's not awful, but it's not,
but it's
across
substantial.
the street.
Like, you can't just go every day.
Do you miss being in a city, or is this like your spot?
I mean, I went out during COVID, you know, and I think during that time I was getting divorced. I found out I had Lyme disease. I was, you know, trying to run this business that was exploding during COVID. We're all remote.
Right.
It was like kind of like a perfect storm. And I felt at that time I wanted to be like in my own bubble and in the quiet and really just heal and get better and focus on myself. And that's what I did. And I feel like I needed it at that time. So we'll see. I actually spent the winter in LA this past year, which was really nice for 5 months. So that was fun.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if I want to be like out there year round anymore, but I think for what I needed it to be at that time, it was.
Yeah. So you were getting divorced at the same time you started Pvolve, or did you start Pvolve
I started
before?
Pvolve back in 2017.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Did you guys always start as a digital platform first and then the studios?
No, so we had a really small, shitty studio in downtown New York, and then we had our streaming, and then we had our P-ball and some other pieces of products. So that combination of digital studio equipment has always been there from day one.
And then the pandemic and like, oh my God.
That's a pretty, though, like, I just want to go back to 2017. I mean, that's a pretty, you really had the foresight to also do the digital.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that was as popular back then.
Not at all. Was that something that, how did you know to do that? Where did that instinct come from?
I mean, really, you know, when I fell in love with this style of movement and just the way that it changed me, my body, all my back pain, my relationship to fitness, and like just took over my life. I wanted to share that with so many other women. And it's, you know, I can only reach so many people in a studio in Soho. And by putting things on Instagram and social media, like so many people would comment like, how do I, you know, do these workouts? And I want to try that and I want to do that. And so it's like, well, we need to put this online, you know, and I think also having that in-person community feel is so important as well, which also led to us wanting to open, you know, more studios as we grew.
Yeah. So I am a Pvolve enthusiast.
I love it. How'd you find out about Pvolve?
I mean, who doesn't know that?
I know. I don't even know
how
where
I found,
it
but
started.
it's just the name that you know.
I remember
Is
you
it?
guys.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Pvolve is synonymous with the workout game. Like it's
Yes.
everywhere. So I first was introduced to it when you guys had a pop-up in LA off
back in
of
the
Melrose.
day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I used to go to that one, and then obviously you guys opened the studio, and I was there like every single day. It's one of the most beautiful studios with the outdoor space in West Hollywood.
My favorite.
And then I became really close with Danny, who's like the head. I feel like she's the head instructor, like for a lot of, not just the West Hollywood. She's like across.
Yeah, she's amazing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know. I noticed that it was so different than any other workout I've done. And I'm a class girly. Like I will go to classes.
Yeah.
And it felt like it incorporated this more functional movement. Like I love how throughout the class, the instructors are like, now when you're twisting this way, this is you like picking up your groceries. Like that, like it, you can see how the movement will enhance your everyday life. Yeah. So let's talk about why Pvolve is different than any other class.
I mean, I think it's what you just said, right? It's this combination of like you're getting that burn. You know, I always say like you want to walk out of a class and feel energized and you want to feel taller and you want to feel more open and like, yes, my arm is shaking and oh my God, my ass is burning, but like I'm not limping when I'm walking out. And so in Pvolve and in any class, like you're moving in all planes of motion. And when you think about it from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, your body is moving in all directions. You're bending, you're reaching, you're opening, you're twisting, you're grabbing, and it's like moving in 3D. And that's what you're gonna get in a Pvolve class. You're doing external rotation, internal rotation. You're kind of putting your body in all these, like maybe at first it's kind of weird or awkward.
And
you're
it looks like Twister.
Yeah, you're like, why are my feet in these really weird positions? But it's to kind of like loosen and get everything open and working. I think we walk around just so tight all day and we don't even realize it. And when you walk out of that class, like you feel so good.
It's so true.
You know, and like
Can't
I
confirm.
went this morning And yeah, one of the blocks, like my arm was literally like convulsing. But afterwards, I'm like, fuck, I just feel so good. You know, like you're just so empowered.
Yeah.
And obviously, depending on the class format, if you're in a sculpt class or, you know, a weight training class, it might be a little bit different, the equipment. But that feeling of never breaking your body down is always there throughout.
Yeah. So you developed this formula though with someone, right?
My ex-husband.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So where?
So we started Pvolve together.
Okay, and
Okay.
he what did he do before?
So he was a trainer.
Okay.
So I met him. I was in New York at the time and kind of on my wellness fitness journey and going around to like all the different studios and I mean everywhere in New York, high intensity, boxing, rowing, Pilates, reform. I mean, you name it, I was doing it. And it was me really experiencing two things of like physically, I wasn't seeing what I wanted to see from these workouts, but I was in so much pain. Like my back was excruciating. I found out I had scoliosis and I was just like a mess. And then I walked into a studio and all these trainers were teaching in this functional fitness world and I'd never heard of that before. And very quickly, like I actually liked working out at that. I was like, oh my God, I like this class. I want to keep going back. Where prior it was like, I hated working out. And I liked what I saw in the mirror, and more importantly, my back pain went away.
Wow.
And I like just felt so in control in my body and like open and free. And I was like, what is functional fitness? And then I started Googling and researching, and it kind of all started to click to me of like, we should be training our bodies like for life instead of just training to train. And I was like, I want to share this with more people because any of my girlfriends, whether they were in their 20s or 30s or my mom's friends in their 50s and 60s, it was like, I don't go to that gym anymore because I don't see results, or I can't go there because I got injured there, or I'm injured, I can't work out at all. And I was over here like, I look amazing, but I feel 10 times better. And you kind of like can have your cake and eat it too with this combination of functional fitness and resistance equipment. And then that's really, you know, when I was like, I need to share this with so many people.
He was working at this gym, and then that's when you guys developed the formula of Pvolve and started on this journey.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what you really see today is an evolution over the past 7.5 years of really bringing on so many incredible trainers, Danny, you mentioned, and Maeve and Antonietta, and our whole kind of clinical advisory board that we work with. And we've, you know, been in clinical studies, like all this amazing stuff to really prove out the efficacy of this incredible method and add more class types. And it's been a really fun, wild, crazy 7.5 years.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Is he still a part of the business or no?
No.
No. So you guys split, you did the business split, and now it's you taking over
Yeah, I mean,
the
he's
whole
not
thing.
involved day to day, still, you know, part of the company always, but not on a day-to-day basis.
How do you feel now that it's been 7.5, almost 8 years, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel looking back on that 2017-year-old version starting this business? Like when you look back, what do you see? How does that make you feel as a founder in this moment?
Oh my God. I mean, those were some of the craziest but most fun days, you know, like when you're doing every single solitary thing and you're building and you're growing, you're just like figuring it out. And I think even though it's been 7.5 years, I really feel like we almost like launched last year in a way, because I think this, like our business model of really having studios in market and, you know, growing our on-demand platform and our clinical studies finally coming out and then the launch with Jennifer Aniston last year, like all these different things like are actually real right now. Like there's, you know, like 12 studios open. There's going to be 20 by the end of the year. We've sold 55 franchise locations. We have like over 1,400 videos on demand. Our studies are out. Like all these things are happening right now. And then obviously the awareness that Jen's brought and the growth that she's brought to the business, it's almost like we're just like starting like I don't know. It's like a different evolution to us in a way.
Absolutely. I mean, we talk about this a lot where people might view that as like, oh my God, it's overnight success. Like it seems like it's just happening out of nowhere because it's just all happening at once. But what people don't know is that you've been like working on this for 7 years to get it to then erupt. Like it kind of, that's how life works, it feels like, where there's like a ton of, and you were, I mean, there were plenty of milestones and achievements along the way, but it's funny how life works like that, where you'll kind of work under the radar almost, and then it's like,
but also
everything
like
come crashing.
7 to 8 years is such a long time, and it's such a short time at the same
Yes.
time.
Oh my God, right.
It's like, oh, that's a long time to be in business, and
you're just starting.
you could start something, and then 7 years later, you're fucking working with Jennifer Aniston. Like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like that's the power of consistency over time and doing something that you're passionate about. So like, in my mind, I'm like, wow, you've been at this for a while, and you haven't even been at this for that long of a time.
Right.
Like, look what can happen.
But I love that you have such enthusiasm still for it. Like
I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it every day. I
Yeah.
only do this. Like, and I really think this method is something that gets harder as you continue with it and you do it, because it's really, as your kind of like range of motion gets deeper and you can balance longer and you're trying to like hold that position more and your mobility gets better and you can lift your leg high. Like, you're always challenging yourself and the equipment's always changing. And I think we go through changes, like what I needed from this maybe in my 20s is different than what I need from it today at 32, and just different things that your body goes through, really using fitness as a tool to kind of achieve your goals as they change. So it's so exciting. Like at the end of the day, like the reviews and the testimonials we get from people of like how this really transformed and changed their lives, like there's no better reward than that.
Yeah. Okay, so how many times a week do you work out?
Probably, at least like 5, if not 7. It's not like, oh my God,
When she said 7, I was like, oh my God.
But it's not like a 55-minute intense,
Also, Pvolve, like, I don't know.
It feels good.
It feels good. Like, it doesn't feel, obviously it feels like a workout to me, but I love what you were saying about all the different classes and all the different class types. And I think as women, we are told that we need to be doing these very high intense workouts to be feeling anything, whereas that's actually really harmful to our bodies, and it spikes our cortisol, and it fucks with our hormones. And Pvolve is one of those where it just is it's more slow movement, but yes, it's the burn, it's the reps, it's this, and it's strength. And as women, like, those are the types of workouts that actually see results.
Yeah.
So I love that you're mentioning that.
I have not been able to get to classes like my whole life. Like it just like I go to a class. I'm not talking about a Pvolve class. I'm talking like, in the past I'd go to like a Barry's, or I'd go to like whatever, like a F45, and I would leave fucking exhausted. Like adrenal fatigue, cortisol fatigue, like for days.
Yeah.
And my sister is much stronger than I am naturally. Like, her and I did a yoga teacher training thing like 15 years ago. We went to yoga every single day together. By the end of the 2 months, she was doing a one-leg chaturanga, and I'm still on my knees. You know what I mean? Like, she builds muscle much faster than me, but I get so exhausted by in-person classes. So the streaming aspect is so good for me, because when I take a class online that's streaming, there's something about like not going all the way to the class and doing all the stuff, and maybe I have 20 minutes, and so I just do 20 minutes.
And it's like, and how awesome is it that you can do it, and then you can like be on a Zoom 5 minutes later. And I think having that flexibility is so important, and whether it is 20 minutes or it's 10 minutes or it's 50 minutes, whatever it is, I think moving your body is such a gift, and it's so important, and even if it's just stretching, like for me, that's like almost my meditation in a way, is like putting my music on, picking a video, and like just not being in my head and not thinking, and just like moving and knowing how good I'm going to feel afterwards.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wow, you had such a good foresight in 2017 to do streaming, because I feel like that's the one thing in the fitness industry that changed people like my life, because I can go online and stream a Pvolve class and get that 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
And I feel accomplished, where I'm not like Mads, who's enthusiastic to go to a class all the time. And so that's why I was like, wow, that's amazing that you started streaming so early, because I think you were really on top of it. And as you said, that impact piece, like there's, for women who maybe struggle with movement like I do, the fact that I can go online and do this, like the streaming thing has changed so many people's lives who struggled with the traditional workout classes, like not traditional workout, but like going to the classes. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I was like, wow, that's why
I think you
really
want to
perks
have
my
access
ears.
for people.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you can't make it into the studio in West Hollywood, well, you should still be able to do this and get those amazing results.
Okay, let's talk about Jennifer Aniston. So how did that come about? Because I remember when I first saw it, I was like, wait, is this actually Jennifer Aniston and Pvolve? So where,
I know.
like,
Sometimes I'm like, is it really her?
wow.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So how did she reach out to you guys? Oh,
Yeah.
so she was a fan.
Wow.
She was a streamer.
Shut up.
She was a streamer. See,
a
there we
streamer.
go. I
Do
told
you
you
think
the
during
streamers where it's
COVID?
at.
She saw one of her girlfriends she hasn't seen in a while and was like, oh my God, you look amazing. What are you doing? I do Pvolve. What the hell is Pvolve? And let me order you the equipment.
Shut up.
And then after a couple months, someone from her team reached out and she wanted some PTs. And I was like, this is a joke. Like, don't even respond to this.
Oh my God.
And then Danny went over and I'm like, you got to call me right after. I don't think it's her. And then she's like, no, it's her. She had all of the equipment laid out. Like she knew what everything was. And
God.
she, you know, loved it. And so her team's like, she wants to get involved. And I'm like, this is like not happening. This is not real. And I think, you know, for her who has had different injuries and different things, you know, throughout her fitness journey, she finally felt like, oh my, I feel this incredible strength in my body, but I'm not like breaking my body down. Like I've never felt so good in my life. Like really similar to me of like, I look amazing, but I feel 10 times better. And like, how did I not know about this in my 20s? Like, I wish I didn't do all that damage to my bodies. And you don't have to, you know, destroy your body to achieve these certain looks, you know, and how like your fitness should be doing so much more for you than just making you look good. And like, how do more people not know about Pvolve?
Oh my God. That is like the best case scenario of a
It's
celebrity
insane.
involvement is
Insane.
like, this wasn't something you guys pitched to her and had to convince her of this. Like she was a
That's crazy.
customer.
So wait, what is her exact role?
Yeah. Is she an investor or is just the
So like investor, partner, I mean, I guess.
Ambassador.
Yeah, face, I don't,
Yeah.
But it's been wild.
I was so proud when I saw that. I was just like, fuck yes. Like it's so
it was
major.
like surreal. Like when we did her first shoot last year, just being on set and like her with the products, like I was just like crying. I'm like, this is insane.
That's amazing.
That's such a testament to like, I think that when people start businesses, they think, okay, how can I get someone like Jennifer Aniston involved, or how can I reach these milestones? When the real question they need to ask is, how can I just create the best product? Because if someone comes to you, like Jennifer Aniston comes to Pvolve, it's because you made an amazing product, and that's where the intention lies. And so I love to point that out because I you know, we've done this podcast so many times. We hear from founders who have these incredible products, and it's always those stories. It's always like, this person contacted me. This person contacted me. This brand contacted me. And it comes back to because the product was so good. And that's where that really stems from. So when you're thinking about the future of Pvolve, because as you said, it's gone through many iterations, it gets like harder and better the more you do it. Where is your mind going as far as like ideas or dreams or plans? What phase are you at with that?
I mean, I think for us, like, there's so much that we want to do. And I feel like we're almost like a little before our time in a sense of like, we were talking about women's fitness and how like women train differently or should be training differently than men, and like the importance of pelvic floor strength and like all these different topics that nobody would speak about back then. And now like fast forward to today, I feel like all people want to talk about is women's fitness and, you know, how you have to strength train and weight train as you get older, and like longevity and sustainable fitness and all these things that we're like so prime and ready for that conversation. I think like future wise, oh my God, there's so much. Like all of our amazing franchise locations that are opening. And I feel like I really want Pvolve to be like for someone to say, I do yoga in Pvolve or I do Pilates in Pvolve, you know? And just
It'd be like
really
a staple of its own.
Yeah, and it's
workout.
like, it's not, if it's something where you just want it to be your only, you know, fitness option that you do, that's amazing. But we have so many members that do it so they can, you know, run better or they can hike better. They can just like it's going to enhance anything that you like doing, or some of them who like love high intensity workouts, but they're using Pvolve so that they're not getting injured or hurt in those workouts. And obviously, you know, this is for everybody. We primarily focus on women, but I think down the road, there's such an opportunity to do more like niche, fun, focused things for men as well, or athletes or sports or different things.
Can we go through a day in the life?
Oh,
because here's why. Here's why. I'm like,
it's really boring, but yeah.
But I'm like, you live in the Hamptons. You're franchising all these things. Jennifer Aniston is like involved in your company. I'm just so fascinated from a founder perspective. What do your days look like? Like, what time do you wake up? Are you in 400 conference calls, or are you only in a couple? How big is your team? So wait, how big is your team?
We're like around 50 people.
Wow.
Okay, and what's your title?
Founder.
Do you have a CEO?
The president, like my business partner, Julie, has been with me forever.
Okay, amazing. Okay, so walk us through a Monday.
A Monday, okay. So usually, I mean, every morning I get up like 6:30, and then I go downstairs. I get my hot water and lemon. I take my cats outside for like 45 minutes. Like I love to just get outside first thing in the morning and fresh air and all that. And then I come in. I work out, and then after that, I either like jump in the shower, maybe I run really quickly to the farm, and then I'm like on calls from really starting probably like 10 to 5, like all day. And I like my last meeting to be no later than 5:30 if it has to, and I'm much more of a morning person. So like by that time, I'm just like, if I need to really look at something and like pay attention, like that's not happening at 5, 6 o'clock at night. And then I make dinner and eat early, and I'm on the couch watching Housewives or whatever. It's like Perfect Couple. I just finished Unreal.
Yes.
And then I go upstairs and do a face mask and foam roll and go to sleep. Like,
So are you on calls every day, or do you pick days?
no, every day.
Every single day. So that's your job, is to be on call. How many people report to you?
4.
4 specific people.
I mean, I would say I'm very involved in the trainers, the content, the production, the creative, like that side. And like certain meetings from like an operational, or, you know, I'll sit in on those like weekly calls, but from like a day to day, you know, really working on the content and what's working, what's not working, and the trainers and all that. That's like really where my passion lies.
And what kind of company culture do you think that you've been able to foster?
Ooh.
Yeah, because you seem like a really cool boss.
I know, I was going to say, it seems really fun and chill.
I would say everybody at this company is so passionate.
Yeah.
You know, I hear that a lot of just like, it doesn't matter who you talk to, the passion really comes through. I mean, every Wednesday, like on our all hands meeting, we actually invite a member to come on and just talk about their experience with Pvolve, because I think it's so rewarding. And like, you know, listen, it is a startup. Like we are busting our ass and we're working a lot, but when you hear those stories, it's like, this is why we do what we do. I think it's a very collaborative environment, you know, like it's not my way or the highway or someone else's way or the highway. Like I really don't give a shit whose idea it is. It's not about me. It's like we're here for something bigger than that. But I think it's been hard. Like we're remote now. You know, our office used to be in Soho, right above our studio. And now it's all remote, and there's people working everywhere, and like the scheduling, the meetings, and there's the West Coasters and the East Coasters, and it's been challenging, you know, to try to figure that out, and like how do you still build a culture when you're remote? You know, like what does that look like? Because there's so many people for a while like I never met in person.
Yeah, which is so
it's
strange.
crazy, you know, and like I think you miss that like when you're in the office of just like, hey, how was your weekend and what are you doing? Like you get on a call Monday morning and everybody's just straight to like, okay, so the agenda today and we got to, you know, make these decisions versus.
Yeah. Do you miss being in person with an office? Or is it just like a sign of the times? This is what it is.
At times, yeah. Like I don't think 5 days a week. Like I look back and I'm like, oh my God.
I know. How did we do
that?
Literally exhausting.
Like, how did we do that? Like Monday through Friday, all day, like till 8 o'clock at night. You know, like
I don't know.
Insane. Like, and even my business partner, she'd fly in. She lives in Chicago, and she'd fly every week. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck did you do that? But you know, you're like in this routine, this rhythm. So I don't think ever going back 5 days. But I do think like a 3-day a week, you know, like it's not possible now because we have so many amazing people that don't all live, you know, in LA or New York or Chicago, like wherever that would home base would be. But I think it's important to still try to find ways to like get, whether it's like the marketing team or this team together, because like that in person, like when I am with those girls, it's like we come up with so many ideas, you know, when you're together.
Yeah. I have a kind of an odd question. Actually, it's not odd. I've just never asked it before. What part of you had to die to get to this level of a business owner? Because there's a difference between starting in 2017 with one studio and then growing to where you are. What's the one thing that you had to say goodbye to become this person?
Ooh. I mean, I think when you start something, like you totally sacrifice like your life, you know, like friends, family, birthdays. Like I don't think I went home for like 2 years for a birthday, a Jewish holiday, Thanksgiving. I was like, I don't care. I'm like, no, I've got to fly to LA for this and I got to go here and I got to do this. But I wanted to. It wasn't like upsetting, you know, I was so in it. And I obviously, as the company grows, and I think you grow of then having to realize like what boundaries you need to be more successful, you know, and like maybe not being so in the weeds on everything. And like you hired these people, you have to trust these people to do what you hired them to do. And, you know, and then if I'm like in a better place, then the company's going to be in a better place.
Yeah, it's a hard shift.
Yeah.
It's a hard shift.
Yeah.
What makes you a good leader? Like, what does leadership look like to you?
I'm still learning. Honestly, I'm so lucky. I have like amazing women that have been with me on this ride and that I get to learn from. Like, I think having the passion is so important and like just never losing sight of that and like always just bringing like the heat, you know, for everybody, listening. And just wanting like we're all here for the same reason, like, you know, not letting anyone's like this is my idea, you know, like that's not what we're here for.
Teamwork.
Wait, you grew up in Michigan. Where'd you go to college?
I didn't go to college.
Where'd you go after Michigan?
I moved to New York to go to college.
Okay. What happened?
Just was not for me.
You're talking to a fellow
I don't know. I'm just looking at you and I'm like, she's Jewish. She's got tattoos.
I know. You guys are very similar.
We're dressed the same thing.
You guys are dressed exactly.
I also dropped out of college. I'm like, I just have a feeling there's like some sort of a college story here that might resonate with me.
I went like one day. I went to one class and I was like,
oh my God. What was it, NYU?
No, I went to the new school.
Okay, so you drop out of college. Then what?
I pretended to go to college for like 6-7 months.
Oh my God.
And I got caught.
Okay.
And then my parents were like, you're coming back. So I moved back home and then I moved back to New York when I was 20, almost 21. And I thought I'd be more in like fashion or something and got an internship in that world. And, you know, really
Where did you get an internship?
It was like one of my friends was working for this girl who had like a marketing agency for different brands and different things and did stuff for Fashion Week and so fun. But, you know, when this happened, like it just took over my whole life. And I was like, this is what I want to do. And, you know, my family's very entrepreneurial, but I never really like, well, what would I do? I didn't know until really this happened. But yeah. Not college, not for me. School was not for me either. And like now I'd love to go back to school. You know? But at that time, no.
It's wasted.
I'm always like, I want to take a community college class in something super specific because I studied, when I did go to college, I was studying literature, which has nothing to do with, you know, what you're going to be in, you know, there's no life skills for the career at least. I'm like, it'd be so fun just to take a class to get lost in that world versus having it be in
or just doing it just to do it.
No, just for fun. Like I think there's such a different energy that one could take to take a class that's something so different. It's almost like a hobby.
Yeah, I was about to say, starting a hobby, or I think about this all the time.
I want to take a pottery class.
Yeah, like I want to learn how to knit. That's why I started playing tennis. It was just like, also it's so important for us to do things that we're not good at because it helps you one, it like humbles you, first of all. And then also it will prove to yourself if you go back and try again and improve. There's like a track record. And I feel like as we grow older, there's less and less of that type of activity.
But I also think that when you own your own business,
that's like a
you're
hobby.
Constantly, it's not a hobby, but like because when you say that, I remember my husband I forget what he wanted to do. He wanted to do something. And it felt like something out of my comfort zone. And that's what excited him. But I was doing so many things in my business that were out of my comfort zone in that month that I was like, I can't do
more things
like a recreational hobby that's out of my comfort zone, or else like I will have an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
And so I think that maybe that's why I don't. I have a feeling you're not a hobby person.
I think it's hard. Like I turn my hobby into my business.
That's what happens,
you know?
yeah.
And then I think whether it's you start a business or you go work in a field that you are passionate and you love, then I think it is important to find other things, like, or else it just can fully consume you. And like I don't turn on. I mean, it's hard for me to turn off. You know, like I don't think I've ever put an out of office. So I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like you got. You know, I'm in Europe this time on the phone. I don't, because I want to be. It's not because I have to be. I want to be.
Yeah.
So for me, like cooking, like I find it very like calming, and like I love going and picking out like my produce and coming home and washing it and like, ooh, what am I gonna make tonight? And this is gonna be so good. Or like even like recently I was like, okay, like horseback riding. I've always wanted to do that. And like you actually can't think about anything else. And like sometimes it's whether it's 30 minutes like a week or something just to like reset you, like I get so many ideas, you know, when you're in those environments.
Those like flow states, and it's just it's getting you out of
that's why I love cooking, because you put your phone away and you're using your hands.
I was just about to say
sorry.
something. I was gonna say you've created a life that you don't need to leave and that you don't need to vacate from. You know, that's something I feel like I don't know. I kind of like to like go back and forth on this, where I'm like, oh no, I love like completely turning off and just like I crave those weeks or vacation.
Some people can. Some people really can need that too.
Totally.
And I, you know,
but I love but
I could.
No, but I think it's only because you've created something that you're so passionate about that you don't need to vacate it. I don't know. I find it. I think about it both ways when I'm like about to go on a vacation. I'm like, ooh, why do I feel like this might be a signal that I'm either burnt out or something's going on, or it's a whatever. If I really need that vacation, but then if there's times where it's just no, I'm gonna just do this call or this because I'm in it. I don't know.
Sometimes
I think,
for me, it's even just like a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Like I can still keep doing my same routine, but like sometimes like I just want to look out the window and see something different.
Yeah.
You know, like and then I always just get new fresh ideas.
And you've built your work and life in a way that's you're capable of that.
I think that's actually the reason it's just becoming very clear to me. That's actually one of the reasons why motherhood was a struggle for me in the beginning. I have a 2-year-old almost now. Was because I built a life that I didn't want to take a vacation from. And I loved the all-in. I loved being consumed. I enjoyed not having like this set off date. You know, I just loved it. And when you have a baby, you are forced every single day to take copious amounts of time that are not in the world that you built and loved. And that's a very hard thing to balance. And I feel like just now I'm coming to a place where I can love and adore both brains. This is obviously, sorry, I never like to do this. I'm not even going to put the disclaimer that I love my child. I hate it when people do that. But the point being that that is, I think, the part that I think was difficult for my transition was because I worked very similar to you and I never needed to go on vacation. Like I loved going to Palm Springs and working there and like getting a change of scenery. And I think when you build a life like that and then something drastic changes in your personal life, it is very difficult to all of a sudden have to leave the land that you built. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. Yeah.
That's, I think, why I have had difficulties with my transition specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyways, thank you for pointing that out for me.
For illuminating that. Okay, should we ask our last question?
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. Well, first, if any of the sisters are listening and want to hop into Pvolve, where do you recommend they start? Because I think a lot of sisters are going to listen to this, want to jump on the train that maybe don't. Let's start with streaming if they don't live in a city where there's a studio, and then maybe if they do live in a city where there's a studio.
I mean, I would say, like, yes, you can start on a free trial, no equipment, but like you really need at least one piece, I feel like, to feel the magic. So like if you don't want to jump in and with all the equipment or one of the bundles, like start with the P band, you know, like literally do 2 workouts that are like 10 minutes with that thing and you're going to be like, holy shit. Like, okay, like I want to dive in more. And like give it 3 like 3 to 4 workouts. Obviously, like if you buy one of the bundles, they come with streaming or you get a free trial, like really give it 3 or 4. Cause I feel like it takes that, right? Like it takes a minute for it to click.
Yeah.
And then if you are by a studio, go on our website, go to our studio pages, see if there's one near you, or I'm sure one's opening up soon.
Yes.
And try an in-person class. Like there's, you know, so many different options, but I think it's just like give it 3 or 4, do like 20 minutes and do it like with at least the P band or the Pvolve because they're so magical.
It's really unique. It's unlike anything you've ever felt before, for sure.
Okay, you want to ask the last question?
Yes. We ask every woman who comes on OK Sister podcast this. If you were to brag about one thing in your life and you can't be humble, what would you brag about?
Oh, shit. If I had to brag about one thing in my life, I think I'm a really good cook.
Yeah.
Like I really do. Yeah. Like I think I kill it in the kitchen.
Nice. Are we going to see a Pvolve cookbook?
Oh, God.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Just really combine everything.
I think I'm really good.
Yes. I love
Well,
it.
we're going to come to the Hamptons.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to cook
And
for
then
you.
you're going to cook dinner for
We're
us.
inviting ourselves over to the
We're all
Hamptons.
going to go to the farm. We'll pick out everything ourselves, and then we'll
This
make
is like
it.
a romance novel. I love it.
This is our 2025 summer plans.
Yes.
This is Maddie's mini moon.
Yeah, perfect.
Come right after my wedding.
Done.
Okay, can you let everybody know where to find you and Pvolve and all the things?
Yeah, I am at our Katzman. You can at Pvolve or pvolve.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so
Thank you
much for
guys
being
so
here.
much
This was
for
such a
having
pleasure.
me.
And sisters, you
Thank
can
you.
find us at OK Sister Pod. We love you.
Love you. Oh, that was amazing.
You guys are adorable.
Oh, thank you.
Oh my
that
God.
was fun.